I have about 15 minutes left. Can I ask you some questions that I ask everybody?
Sure.
For my record. All right. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
It depends on whether or not I'm in Portland. Do you want to just take both of them?
Sure. So give me your Astoria number first.
That's 503 468.
I'm sorry, 503 what?
468
468
0450.
0450.
Yeah.
And then what's your Portland number?
Well, I don't have a Portland number. I have a 350-minute a month Obama phone because I'm low income.
Okay.
But I can give you that number.
Sure.
That's 503 470 9985.
470-9985.
Would you like photographs of the bruises?
Yes.
You would?
Yes, if you have.
Okay. I'll try to make it as concise as possible because I don't want to overwhelm you.
Thank you.
And another thing, can I just say about when we get out to the lobby, you know what I do? I sit down to read a book. That's how under order of evacuation I feel. I think I'm this person who just gave a glowing speech on the Americans with Disability Act and international disabilities treaties, who is waiting to go in and now speak about bicycles because I'm signed up to speak about bicycles.
Okay.
I don't think that I have anything to do with David.
Do you have a mailing address that I can get?
My mailing address where Austin will be sending my copies of my police reports is Mary Ang, care of Clatsop Community Action, also CCA, and that's 364 West 9th Street, like W 9th Street, Astoria, Oregon, 97103. The other address you have on file, you probably need to disregard because the house is almost sold. And that's why I will be homeless when I come to Portland because my mom's moving to Eugene.
Okay. So, Mary Ames, care of Classic Community Action, 364 West 9th Street, Astoria, Oregon.
97103.
Okay. Do you have any criminal history that I should know about?
No. My mom is a psychiatric nurse, and due to the fact that I had depression in my teenage years, my mom, who is a psych nurse, liked to call psychiatric services for me due to the fact that she neglected me my whole childhood. So that will be the only thing that really shows up on my record is that I have a long and pronounced psych history due to my mom and our governor or like Mayor Bredesen had a really good healthcare thing down in Tennessee where anybody who was slightly weird would get extreme amounts of psychiatry. So I had psych evaluations back when I was 21. I had, the only thing I really think is wrong with me is I have chronic depression, which plus I have post-traumatic stress from the police brutality I experienced on my first psych detention.
Are you currently on probation for anything?
No, I don't. Okay. I don't do crimes. That's the other weird thing about me. Plus, my paralegal.
So you said you might have some mental health issues?
I'm a rape survivor. I'm a multi-rape survivor. I'm a kidnapping abduction survivor. The mayor knows this. I've told him this numerous times at city council, in emails. I don't think anyone can experience rape, strangulation, stalking, beating. I've been beat by multiple men. And, really, I was exploited. I'm an exploited person who was a very high-performing academic with high SATs, like a very beautiful future, and that was all ripped away from me due to my mom's sort of financial crisis and framing me as a psych suspect. My mom didn't like me because I was like my dad. So she was able to embezzle my grandpa's inheritance when she got me into the mental hospital. So it's sort of like, I don't agree that I'm mentally ill. I don't identify that way. But I've read enough about post-traumatic stress disorder to have reapplied for disability and received disability for my post-traumatic stress. But I do have a chronic immune system response, which, for instance, when Engstrom brutalized me, my period stopped. Like, I didn't get my period because my body reacts to male violence with like a complete shutdown. And in my post-traumatic stress disorder response, what happened in City Hall chamber is that knowing Lone Vet had been brutalized 2 days before at the Marshman swearing in, my knees were shaking and my heart was racing as I tried to figure out what to do to avoid the most maximum violence. Because I didn't want Joe Walsh to be assaulted because he's 74, elderly, a veteran on oxygen. I didn't want David Keefe Davis to be assaulted because he identifies as having post-traumatic stress. I think he's mostly bluster. I actually think he's a really nice guy who comes off as kind of this angry New Yorker.
Okay.
Like, I don't see him as this gigantic threat like the mayor does.
Okay.
I think the mayor's blowing him way out of proportion. He's like a literary guy. He's like a music guy. He's not a threat. And
Have you ever done a psychological evaluation before?
Listen, Michael Shue, I know where you're going with this, and I know you can get me out because I can ace your chronic depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, but I don't want to be denied my right to a trial. If the mayor wants to prosecute me for a crime, I mean, if you think it's in my best interest to test out of this, I may mention that to Davis, who I now have his...
No. I'm not asking. I'm just asking if you want a trial, you're going to get a trial. Like, I'm happy to take this to trial for you. These are just questions I'm asking because, it's part of my job. When
Well,
brings this
my
all
ex
up.
is at Oregon State Hospital. I just survived like a 3-year stalking episode by a police brutality victim who held me up at knife point, smashed picture frames at me, bashed down doors at me. And the Portland police responded, offered to kill him, hauled him away sometimes, would put him in jail for 13 days at a time. But his stalking was relentless. And I've sought help through acupuncture. And the behavioral services up in Astoria are the ones that refused to put him on a psych hold when he was threatening to kill me. So I feel like I have a little bit of a conflict of interest in terms of why would I go to them for support when they wouldn't really support my need not to be killed by my stalker.
Are you talking about the Oregon State Hospital?
No, I'm talking about Clatsop Behavioral Services, which Clatsop is the county that Astoria is in. Multnomah is the county of Portland. Both of those counties failed to assist me when I was essentially doing a combo of pro bono, paralegal, caregiver, chauffeur, driver, assistant, housekeeper for this extremely disabled traumatic brain injury victim, Benjamin Pickering, who I originally loved. I just loved him so much. He's gorgeous. But his behavioral problems were inadequately assessed by the mayor. The mayor essentially relied on me to black bag him, take him off into a foreign county, and throw his body in the river. The mayor thought that I was going to remove this $1 million lawsuit out of his periphery, and I failed. I brought it back up into his face.
So you're not interested in talking to a psychologist, right?
Well, I mean, what benefit would it give me? I love psychologists. My mom's a psych nurse.
Okay.
I mean, if you think it would benefit my case for me to explain my PTSD...
Case, but just in terms of seeing it, because there are resources out here in Multnomah County. Recently, they've hired a few people in the forensic diversion program to get people connected.
Oh, well, like...
If you don't need the help, that's fine. Well, I'll just let it go. I'm just presenting this as an option.
Well, for instance, if I were sentenced to 7 months in MCDC, I would absolutely love to have forensic diversion and all the psych I can get. But the fact of the matter, which you have to understand the irony, is I am not a certified psychologist or a certified nurse. I'm a nursing school dropout. In a sense, I haven't finished even my paralegal degree because I'm missing 2 courses. So I'm not certified to take care of disabled, visually impaired police brutality victims with traumatic brain injury. Nevertheless, the mayor, Amanda Fritz, Daphne Brooks at Behavioral Health Unit, Multnomah Crisis, etc., trusted my mom and I, my mom who is a registered nurse, to essentially disposition this poor man into a better life when he really needed a full spectrum of coordinated care. And the mayor, knowing that he perpetrated this extremely psychotic man stalker on me, feels extremely guilty that I almost lost my life, which that's why he needs to do this witch trial to prove that I'm psycho. And that's why I'm accused of having a corkscrew. The actual corkscrew is the metaphor for a case called Benjamin Pickering versus City of Portland, for a police brutality claim that I have on file with Justice for Benjamin Pickering on the internet with Immergut is the one who helped get him exonerated from all of those false charges and get all the officers interrogated on the stand. So really, we are going to be putting the Portland police on trial.
Before I have to go, I just have a few more questions for you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Why do you ask that?
It's part of the questions I ask everybody. If you aren't, I need to know so that I can figure out if there are immigration consequences for this case.
Immigration consequences like what? Deportation?
That's a possibility. If you aren't a U.S. citizen, for this level of charges, it's unlikely if you're not a U.S. citizen, but I just need to know for my records because if you aren't a U.S. citizen, I need to let you know what the immigration consequences